Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Luqman Hakim bin Jafar and I am a student 2023-2024 from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris Tanjung Malim Perak, majoring in Bachelor Degrees Education Tahfiz Quran Qiraat from Faculty Human Science. So today, I'm gonna do some of my coursework subject from Islamic thought, which is I have been given a task to do some of the review, which is I have to find a book and do some review of that. And also I will tell you guys about what I found from reading that book. Inshallah, without further, let me get started. Firstly, I'm gonna tell you guys about the book. I have to choose a book about general knowledge and thought related to Islam. For your information, that my assignment is to choose and find a book that discusses Islamic philosophy. The book that have been chosen are called A Modern Approach to Islam. The person who write this book is Bakir Satta. The man himself he teaches Islamic law, human right, and anything at national security law. He also studied at University Yale, New Jersey. He also studied at University Pennsylvania, New Jersey. He also pursued his study at Master and PhD level at University Princeton. He also received a formal training in Islamic jurisprudence in Egypt and Kuwait. Also, this book has been released in the year 2012 by company Random Publication. Yes, Islam is a religion that emphasizes thought, contemplation and reflection. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, encourages believers to use their intellect and engage in deep reflection. Also emphasize inner faith and belief. The heart and mind also play crucial roles. The Quran often refers the importance of having faith and belief in God from the depth of one heart. For example, the Quran emphasizes the importance of having a heart as seen in the verses such as Yawma la yanfa'u malun wala banun illa man atallahu biqalbin salim from Surah Syu'ara. There are numerous verses in the Quran that prompt believers to use the contemplate of creation of the universe, the sign of God in nature, and the purpose of life. The concept of this iman are none other to strengthen a person's relationship with Allah through both external, internal. What is external? External is like an act of worship, such as Salat, Zakat, Haji, Dua, fasting, and the rest. And for the internal, is like inner matters, like having a faith, sincerity, and humility. Islam, like any major religion, involves a set of principles, guidelines, and commandments that followers are encouraged to adhere to. However, the idea of force in the context of Islamic practices is complex and requires some clarification. First, voluntary submission. Islam, which means submission or surrender in Arabic, is considered of a religion voluntary submission to the will of Allah. Second, individual responsibility. Islam places a strong emphasis on individual responsibility. Muslims are expected to make a choice based on their understanding of Islamic teaching and their personal conscience. Teaching and guidance. Islam provides teaching and guidance for various aspects of life, including worship, ethics, and social interaction. The intention is to offer a framework that fosters personal and community. In summary, Islam does not force individuals to adhere to its teaching. Instead, it encourages voluntary submission, personal conviction, and individual responsibility in adhering to the principles and guidelines outlined in the Quran and the teaching of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The way Islam is implemented can vary widely depending on cultural, political, and historical factors. Here are a few significant factors that influence how Islam is applied differently. First thing, cultural diversity. Cultural tradition play a significant role in shaping an expression of Islamic practices. As a result, you may observe variation in dress, cuisine, ritual, and social custom among Muslim communities around the world. Second, historical context. The way Islam is interpreted and practices has been greatly influenced by historical events and development. Different historical paths have led to different cultural and religious landscape in different locations. In Muslim society, historical circumstances can influence social norm, legal tradition, and religious identity. Third, political organization. The application of Islam can be impacted by political climate in certain areas. Political figures occasionally have the power to control or influence religions in the society. How the concept of human dignity and free will is defined in Islamic. It is divided into two parts. The first is human dignity and the second is a free will. It is divided into two parts. One is the human dignity, the second one is free will. One part has contained four main points. The number one, a creation in the best form. Islam teaches that human beings were created by Allah in the best form. This concept underscores the inherent dignity and nobility of every individual. The second one, equality of all humans. Islam rejects the notion of racial, ethnic, or social superiority. The Quran explicitly states that the most honored among people are those who are most righteous, regardless of their race or social status. The third, honoring life. Human life is highly valued in Islam. According to the Quran, murdering one of innocent life is equivalent to the destroying all of humanity, while sparing one life is equivalent to preserving all of humanity. Now, number 4, the social justice. Islamic teaching emphasize the importance of social justice, fairness, and compassion. Muslims are encouraged to care for the less fortunate, and acts of charity and kindness are highly regarded. And the second part is a free will, and this part also has contained 4 main points too. The first one, accountability before Allah. Islam teaches that humans have been endowed with free will and the capacity for choice. Individuals are accountable for their action and they will be judged by Allah based on their deed. The second one, moral responsibility. Humans are considered moral agent responsible for their choice. Islam emphasizes the importance of making ethical decisions and following a righteous path in life. Third, guidance, not compulsion. The Quran has said that there is no compulsion in matter of faith. It means that individuals have their freedom to choose their belief, and faith should come from sincere conviction rather than caution. The last one, seeking knowledge and understanding. Islam encourages the pursuit of knowledge and understanding. The Quran often prompts believers to reflect on the sign of creation and to use reason in understanding the world around them. Has Islam the religion encouraged science? Yes, Islam has historically encouraged and furthered scientific inquiry. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, contains verses that urge believers to reflect on natural world, observe the sign of God creation, and use their intellect to gain knowledge. Here are some key points illustrating how Islam encourages science. There are so many hadiths saying of action from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yani Rasulullah, that stress significance of acquiring knowledge. One well-known hadith said, "Seeking knowledge is obligation upon every Muslim." Also, Islam tradition value both religious and worldly knowledge. Muslims are encouraged to seek knowledge in various fields, including science, medicine, mathematics, and others. The pursuit of knowledge is seen as a means of understanding the creation of Allah and fulfilling one's responsibility in society. The next one, Islam places a strong emphasis on intellectual pursuit and encourage Muslims to engage in critical thinking, reflection, and pursuit of knowledge. The Quran itself invites believers to reflect on the sign of creation, nature, and the world around them as means of deepening their understanding and appreciation of Allah's wisdom. The reason we have to do that because the Quran acknowledges the diversity of human intellect and highlight the importance of employing reason and understanding the world. Last, I'm going to share with you guys some of achievements through Golden Islam era at the 8th to the 14th centuries. First, Ibn Sina made several advances in medicine, and later, the results of that work were written in the book, such as the Canon of Medicine, which became standard medical textbook in Europe and the Islamic world for centuries. In addition, there is Sukla al-Khwarizmi, who made fundamental contribution to the mathematics. The term algebra comes from his name, and he wrote a book about solving a quadratic equation. Also, there has Islam made some advancement in astronomy, such al-Batani, accurately determine the length of the solar year. And last but not least, in physics and optics from Ibn Haytham, who made groundbreaking contribution to the optics and the study of the light and vision. His work influenced later scientists such as Kepler and Galileo, which known as the well-known scientific in the world. As a conclusion, the encouragement of scientific inquiry is deeply embedded in the intellectual tradition of Islam. The pursuit of knowledge, reason, and observation has historically been seen as a means of understanding and appreciating the complexity of God's creation. Islamic modernism reflects a dynamic and evolving approach to Islam that seeks to reconcile religious tradition with challenge and opportunities of modern world. So, that's all I can tell you from this book. Well, this book can only open my view about the achievement of Islam in reaching this all modern age. But it has also made me amazed for being given the opportunity to share this book with you guys all. So that's all from me. All the mistaken and shortcoming from me, and all the advantage come from God Himself. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.